Hi and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Kodak 66 Model 3. So here we have the Kodak 66 Model 3, and together with the Model 2, which was manufactured at the same time, it was Kodak's last 120 roll film camera they ever produced, and it was only produced in the UK. And it's strange that there was never a Kodak 66 Model 1. So I don't know if someone made a mistake or it was just on a whim, but there you go. There was only the Model 2 and Model 3 made. Now, the Model 2 and Model 3 were pretty much similar cameras and used the exact same body, but they had a few slight differences. Okay, so let's have a look at the differences between the Model 2 and the Model 3. Now, the Mark 3, unlike the Mark 2, has a double exposure lock, and at the moment, if you see that tab there, that is indicating that you cannot take another exposure. So if we were to cock the shutter, like so, and try and press the button, it wouldn't release. But if we wind on the film, you can see that the tab has now disappeared. So if we press the shutter button, sorry, I didn't cock the, we've cocked the shutter now, and we can take the image, and you can see again that the tab has popped out, so that indicates that we cannot take another picture. So wind on again, you can see that the tab's disappeared, cock the shutter and press. Now you can override the double exposure lock. So at the moment you can see that it's out, but if we cock the shutter again, try and press the button, shutter button, and it doesn't work. But if we manually press that little tab in, let's come out again. So we can take another picture. Sometimes it wants to pop in and stay in that little tab, but sometimes it doesn't. So you could take a third image if you wanted to, but why you'd want to do that, I don't know. But anyway, that's one way of overriding it. So what other differences are there? So what are the other differences between the two? Now, the lens on the Model 3 is an Aniston 75mm f4.5, and on the Model 2 it's a similar Aniston lens, but this time it's only a 75mm f6.3, so you get an extra stop or so to play with. The other difference is the shutter. And if we just zoom in a little bit closer, if we can. The shutter on the Model 3 has 5 speed settings of 1/10, 1/25, 1/50, 1/100th and 1/200th of a second shutter speed plus bulb. Now on the Mark 2 we only have 3 speeds, and they are 1/25th, 1/75th and 1/200th plus bulb. So this is a more flexible camera, the Mark III, but the lenses are pretty good on these cameras. There is one other difference between the two cameras, and if we turn the camera over, this one has a film reminder dial. So what we do is we pop up the aluminium dial and twist it so it stays up, and then we can rotate this disc so it'll tell us what sort of film we've got in, be it a Pan-X, Velichrome Pan, Tri-X or Kodacolor. And I think you can only get, what, 2 of those now? Might be mistaken, but there you go. So those are the differences between the 2 cameras. Zoom out again so you can see a bit more. Now I have shot a roll of film through this camera. It was an Ilford HB5-400. It was expired by about 12, 13 years. But we'll have a look at the pictures later on. So let's have a closer look around the camera. And if we have a look at the top plate first, we have the Kodak 66 Model 2 camera name there. We have an accessory shoe. We have the film wind on. We have the shutter button. We have the release button for the bellows. Now this was a little bit sticky, but it's starting to loosen up a bit. So once you press that button, it should just flip out, almost like that, but it should click into position. And then on this side, as I mentioned before, we have the film indicator. So fairly basic but functional top. Now if we have a look at the base plate, we have the tripod socket, and we have the 2 knurled aluminium bases for the internal film holder. If we look at the back of the camera, it's very basic, and we've got the red film window so we can see which shot we're taking, and it has a very small viewing window, and it's functional, but it's not the brightest or the clearest of viewfinders, but it functions okay. So what else can we see while we're at the back here? So in order to open the back, we just pull this lever down here, and then we can open the back up. So on this side we have the take-up spool, and there we'll put a roll of an exposed 120 roll film. And obviously drag it across, locate it in the tabs, and then we can wind it on. Now if we look at this back here, we've got a pressure plate, and as it always says with Kodak films, does not take 620 film, load with Kodak 120. There's a red tab here. I don't know if it'll show up there, but it says serviced by Kodak Limited, London, 1963. Now these cameras weren't produced up until 1963. I think it was 58 to 60. So this must have been serviced by the owner in 1963. And there's nothing wrong with this camera. It works quite well. So let's have a look at the inside. Press the tab there, it opens up. The other thing I omitted to say about this before we go ahead and open the front of the camera is that this top grey isn't metal, it's made out of plastic, which I suppose is a nod to the modern materials that were being used quite widely at the time. So if we open the front, pop open the bellows. If I bring it a bit closer, you can see that on the front we have the focusing ring, and it's quite a big throw from a minimum focus distance of 3.5 feet. I don't know if you can see that there. And if we wind it all the way around to infinity, just there. And that's a throw of about 340 degrees, I would say. And then we have a knurled ring just here. You see that there is the little diamond, and we turn. We're at 200 now. We can go to 100, 50, 125th, 1/10th, and then bulb. And just above that diamond is the shutter cocking. So it's wound on now anyway, so we can click that. So let's go off bulb. And this camera works at all settings on the shutter, which some don't. So I have to wind the film on to get rid of the double exposure protection. Press the red button and it clicks. Now if we have a look at the top of the barrel, we have where it says German shutter and then a little logo, ACG, I think that is, not AGC, I might be wrong. But also adjacent to that is the flash sync port. And over on the other side we have a shutter release port. And around the barrel, just below the German shutter lettering, we have all of the apertures from, let's wind the lever to close, open it up. So we've got 4.5, 5.6, f8, f11, f16 and f22. And that's all there is to this camera. It's very simple. It's quite a sturdy little camera, really. It's very light in weight. I'm not sure what it is, but it's got to be about 250, 300 grams, I would guess. And it's fun to use. So I did take this camera out with me when I went for a walk in a local park just to test it out, and I used a roll of expired HP5 film developed in Rodinal, and I'll put those images up now. Now I'm not entirely happy with the images, but the camera is fun to use. I missed the focus on some of the images, but I will be taking it out again and doing a more controlled test with this. It was just pretty much a point and shoot style of photography I was doing. But anyway, take a look at the photos. Thanks for watching. There will be lots more content to come on the channel, so please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. And as I say, there'll be an update to this video coming probably within the next month or so. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.